Hi guys! I haven't been on a video in a while. I'm kind of excited to come and do this quick video for you this morning. My life has been going a little different directions. Started back working again, so I'm not as home as I used to be, which is perfectly fine with me. But I wanted to come in real quick this morning and drop into your spirit, if I can, a quick word. So I've been in my studies lately, and the Lord has been having me down this path of fruit. But while I was in this path of fruit, He started to take me down a different path this morning in my studies. And I wanted to jump in real quick today if I can. I know it's Friday, yay! But I want to jump in real quick if I can. So in the book of Numbers, and I'm going to read from the NIV version. So in the book of Numbers, God is telling Moses that they need to go and scope out the land of Canaan. So in their doing so, Moses is charging one person from each of the tribe to go and view the land. So I want to jump in real quick into the verses. So in verse 17 in Numbers chapter 13, I'm going to quickly paraphrase a few of these. It says, "Go up in the land of Negeb and on into the hill country. See what the land is like and whether the people who live there are strong or weak, few or many. What kind of land do they live in? Is it a good or bad land? What kind of towns they live in? Are they unwalled and fortified? How is the soil? Is it fertile or poor? Are there trees in it or not? Do your best to bring back some of the fruit of the land." So he gave him charge. He wanted to kind of get some information on land, this land that God promised them that's supposed to be flowing with milk and honey. So he wanted to get a report on what it actually is. It's a promised land that God promised Abraham way back when he started treading and walking. He said, the land that you're going to walk, it's going to be yours. So to go in is a little bit deeper. So when the 12 went in, when the 12 went in the land, they were already in the desert. So they went into this land and they started looking around. So they're looking around, they're seeing that, oh, the land is beautiful. They see that it's a gorgeous land. There's trees everywhere. There's milk and honey, and it looks glorious. You got to think they just came out of the desert. So they're used to the sand and the dryness. So to them, this land looks amazing. It is heavenly. It is a glorious, beautiful land that God had promised them. So they went and they're looking in this land, and it's a great land. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And they see the promised land. They see the gloriousness of it. They see the beauty of it. They see that God's promise was just not just wind and smoke. They see the promise, and they see the promise that God gave them. And when they see the promise that God gave them, they lost sight. You see, they stopped focusing on the promise that God gave them. They stopped focusing on the trees that God gave them, and they started to shift their focus to the dangers that were around the promise. You see, they shift their focus to the people. I'm gonna read a little bit further before I jump into that. So when they came back to Moses and Aaron and the whole Israelite community in front of everybody and their mama, they gave Moses this account, and they said, we went into the land that you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. Look, here's the fruit. It's amazing. God's word was true. His word was true. Here is the promised land. We're here. We're at the land that flows with milk and honey, and it's abundance and fruit, and it's fertile, and this is an amazing land. We're here. We're here. We're at the promised land. But then they also said, the people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. We even saw descendants of the Anak there. The Amalekites, I think it's how you say it, live in the Negev. The Hittites, the Jebusites, the Amorites live in the hill country, and the Canaanites live near the sea and along the Jordan. So when they're like, it's a beautiful place, God's promise is true, but in the same sentence, in the same breath, in the same conversation, they said, but. How many times have we said, but? I'm going to keep reading. Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, we should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it. But the other 11, they were saying, but the men who had gone up with him said, we can't attack those people. They are stronger than we are. And they spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land that they had explored. They said, the land we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw there are a great size. And we seem like grasshoppers in our own eyes and look the same to them. So I want to pause there. I'm going to stop there in the reading. And I want to dive into this real quick. You see, God promised the Israelites a land flowing with milk and honey. He promised them that they would have this land. He's not a man that he should lie. We know this. He's God. So he promised them this land, and they went and go see the land that God said, you know what, now go look at it. Go look at the promise I'm giving you. Go look at the land that's going to be yours. Here's a glimpse of your future. Isn't it bright and beautiful? He's telling them this. He's showing them this. He's allowing them to see it with their eye. But see, the thing is only one got it. You see, the other 11 saw with their eyes. And they saw that the land was beautiful. They saw it was glorious. They saw the milk and honey. They saw the fruit. They saw the promise. But their natural vision became dim of that promise because they allowed what was around them to affect the promise. They allowed the giants in the tall cities and the tall buildings. They allowed these strong men, strongholds, hello people. They allowed these strong men to dim the vision. They allowed these strong men and city to cloud the promise. They allowed it to stop the actual vision. But see, the thing is, one got it. One got it. And his name was Caleb. Caleb got the vision. He got the vision. He got to see the promise. He got to see the land flowing in milk and honey. He got to see the beautiful trees that had so many wonderful fruits on it. He got to see the promise. And the thing is, when he saw the promise, he didn't go run with the other 11 and say, but we can't do it. You see, the thing is, he didn't say, but we just not able to. Because see, the thing is, I like to call this the syndrome of what have you done for me lately syndrome, is what I put these other 11 in. The thing is, they forgot who God was. You see, they forgot that God brought them out of the land of Egypt. Not only did he bring them out of the land of Egypt, but he brought them out of the land of Egypt with riches, and they spoiled Egypt. They forgot that this same God who brought them out of Egypt, not only did he bring them out of Egypt, but he also killed their enemies. He parted the Red Sea so they can walk on dry ground, and when their enemies are falling behind them, he swallowed them up. See, they forgot who God was. They forgot this same God who not only delivered them from their bondage, who also killed their enemies, who also fed them manna in the wilderness, who also gave them water out of nothing and quail. They forgot the same God who was a pillar of fire by night and a cloud by day to keep them from overheating and experiencing dehydration and experiencing sun and heat exhaustion. They forgot this same God who brought them to this very moment, this very promise. You see, they already traveled far. They've come so far into the promise. They've come so far into their destiny. But then when they got there, they can see it. You see, I'm gonna let you in on this here. When they got there, they can see it. They can see the promised land. They can see the vision. God gave them the vision. He wanted them to see what was in front of them. But the thing is, the other 11 just couldn't quite make it. You see, they saw with their natural eye. In the Bible, it tells us to walk by faith, not by sight. So when they were walking by their own sight, they lost the faith in their God. They got the "what have you done for me lately" complex syndrome, like I call it, and forgot who their God was. But Caleb knew who his God was. He knew of his sure foundation. He knew with all his faith and without a shadow of doubt that they could take them, because it wasn't his own natural eye that he understood. It was his spiritual eye, that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob would carry them into their promised land, would swallow up their enemies, and give them this promised land that is flowing with milk and honey. So I say all of this to you to make it relevant to you today, that you're going to take your journey. You're going to walk with God. He's protecting you and shielding you from more things than you know. He's aligning things for you and your future more than you know. He's brought you out of that bottle that you kept drinking. He's got you out of jail when you had to do time. He took that needle out of your vein. You see, he paid that bill that you didn't know where the money was coming from. He gave you food on your table that you had to decide between food and car and your gas in your car. He did all these things for you in your life. Don't get the "what have you done for me lately" complex and get shaky when it comes to seeing the vision, because you're clouded by what's around you. I'll say it again. God tells us to walk by faith. And if the same God that brought you out of your addiction, the same God that brought you out of that toxic relationship, the same God that put clothes on your back and food in your mouth, not by your works and not by your merit, but by his favor that's on you, that same God is telling you to keep your eye on the prize. You see, 2020 has given us such, a whirlwind of surprises because we see with our natural eye. But the thing is, when you start to shift your focus from your natural eye and stop seeing the clouds and the gray and the doom and the gloom and the destruction all around you, you will start to understand and comprehend it's not with your natural eye that you see these crazy things happening, but you'll start to shift into your spiritual eye and know that no matter what's happening around me, it's happening around me. There's craziness all around me. But listen, but God. But the same God that kept you 15 years ago, the same God that brought the Israelites out of bondage, the same God that allowed Black Americans to be free out of slavery, the same God, come on now, the same God that did all these things, the same God that keeps you each and every day in your right mind, the same God, this same God who loves you unconditionally in spite of your faults and your flaws, this same God is telling you to keep your eye on the prize, and the prize is him. The prize is everlasting life. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck in between your process when you see the promise so clear as day. Don't get stuck and between looking at the giants around you that you yourself can't see, that you're not just a grasshopper, because you're much bigger than those giants. You're much greater than those giants, and you're more powerful than those giants, because the God who lives inside of you is more mightier than some giants that are standing around. The God who is inside of you is bigger and better than any fortified cities. The God who is inside of you is bigger and better than those strongholds, and they can't keep you down and they can't keep you bound, not when you have God inside of you. In the moment you know that greater is He who is in me than he that is in this world, you'll stop looking at yourself as a grasshopper. You'll stop looking at your situation as chaotic. You'll stop looking at yourself as a nobody. Because see, the thing is, God didn't make a mistake. He doesn't make mistakes. He created you in His goodness, in His likeness, in His image. And He called you by name before the foundations of the earth. You're not a mistake. You have a purpose. You have a destiny. You have the promised land flowing with milk and honey. Just don't lose your sight on the way, because you see the giants all around. I hope you all have a blessed and wonderful day. And I can't wait to talk to you again next time.